This program on investing under regulation crowdfunding is not investment advice.
Rising with the crowd, power unbound, change makers lead where hope is found. Superpowers for good, shaping the fate. Investors and dreamers open the gate. Supercross stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
Have you ever thought there's got to be a better, faster, cheaper, more climate friendly way to build houses? I think a lot of people have had that thought. My guest today, Gene Eidelman, did it. So stick around. You don't want to miss this episode. Oh my gosh. Gene, welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have you here on the Superpowers for Good show from the Super Crowd. And your work with Azure Printed Homes is so inspiring. I wonder, and you've got some big news to share. I want to hold off on the big news because we've got to remind people. I know you've been on the show before. We got to remind people about what you're doing a little bit. Give us an overview of Azure, and then we'll talk about your big news.
Sure. Well, Devin, great to see you again. Thank you for highlighting founders like me on your program. My business partner and I had this idea about finding a way to build faster, cheaper, and with less environmental impact 6 years ago. It took us 2.5 years of just experimenting and trying different things. And then 3.5 years ago, we built our prototype. It was during COVID, so the unit we developed actually is the one that's seen on the video now. It's a backyard studio that can be built very quickly in our factory. It takes us 24 hours to print and 5 days to finish. And then this is an example of how this unit like this gets delivered and being built, put in a very tight space behind customer's home. That's how we started, was little backyard studios. And then we expanded to ADUs. And now, 3.5 years later, we're building from luxury eco-resorts and glamping resorts to affordable housing subdivisions, to continue with ADUs and backyard studios. And then now we have a couple public clients where we're building villages for the homeless. Still very attractive, but a lot less expensive. So this whole spectrum of products that are coming out from our factory, and it's just been an incredible journey. And it's been great to have you on, watching the journey from the side and actively, getting the news out about the company. So really,
it has been wonderful to watch, and we have been watching you since the early days, since your first thing. I think we had you on the show. I think the Impact Cherub Club invested. It's been a great story to follow, and you're just hitting it out of the park. It's so exciting. Let's talk about your news. I don't want to steal your thunder, but this is big news. This is a big deal. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah. So just yesterday, we were a finalist in the most fundable companies competition conducted at Pepperdine University here in Malibu. And we were declared a winner of the competition. The reason it's such a big news is it's probably the most extensive or the most thorough review of the startups. Some 2,300 companies from 50 states applied. And it took me 8 hours. I was actually flying from Dubai when I completed the application. I told the organizers that I need a long block of time to complete this because they really look at very deep review of financials, governance, team, market acceptance, product market fit, just every aspect of the company. And once we applied, then that was phase one, and phase two was a quarterfinalist. There was interview with one of the judges, one of the VCs. Then the next step was a semifinalist, and there was interview with two of the VCs. The next step 4, was interview with a panelist that looked at all the finalists. And finally, yesterday we were among, from 2,300 it went down to 30 companies that present on Pepperdine campus. And as I said, we were declared a winner, which is really, really exciting. It feels good when you are finally recognized as hard as we worked, it finally, being recognized by investment community.
That it is amazing, and congratulations. I mean, holy cow! When you talk about being selected among not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands of applicants, that just speaks so highly of you, and by people who, savvy investor types who have seen hundreds and thousands of deals themselves and made real investments that have worked. That's just high praise, high praise. Very exciting. Now, one of the exciting things about this, one of the implications, is that you have funded much of the company over the years using successful WeFunder campaigns, and you have a crowdfunding campaign going on right now, community round on WeFunder. Tell us a little bit about why and how you've used WeFunder and crowdfunding so successfully over the years.
Yeah. If you were to ask me even 5 or 6 years ago, when we were really just experimenting, trying to find a solution, if you were to tell me that we would be raising crowdfunding, I would say that doesn't make sense, because I've started, this is my fourth business. I got venture funding for my previous one. And I would just say that doesn't make sense. It's too hard. It takes too much time. But we announced our prototype. We printed our prototype in March of 22, and summer of 22, venture funding was just dead. And so we literally didn't have any other choice. I got 3 accredited investors. My business partner and I funded all of the R&D ourselves prior to start, but then 3 accredited investors, and that was it. I think we raised from them about $20,000. So we went to crowdfunding. We started actually with Republic and then continued on WeFunder. And it was extremely successful in multiple ways. First of all, we offered opportunity to people who are not accredited investors to invest. And the product we developed is perfect for crowdfunding because people understand good design, affordable housing, sustainability. We use recycled plastic in our materials, so it's highly sustainable. We build it 70% faster, 30% cheaper. So people just in general understand it. We're closing October 15th, our 6th campaign. And I actually think this is going to be our last crowdfunding campaign, because if there is one comment during this most fundable competition was, Gene, why are you continuing to raise fundraising? Why are you continuing to do crowdfunding? And I explained to them that initially it was out of necessity, but as time went on, it really, some of the early users both bought our units and invested. And in some instances, it was the other way around. So you invested and then found the use for our product. It really, crowdfunding democratizes the investment. Now you don't have to be a accredited investor. And our valuations have increased, I think over 3.5 times from our first campaign. Our first campaign was, I think, in the 20 million range, and now we're at 75 million range. So people who invested feel good about the investment. They follow us. They have good questions. We now have this ambassador group, people who are most active promoting us. And so in the last months and a half, I've been to Dallas, Washington, D.C., Durham, North Carolina, San Diego, here in LA, where our ambassadors, people who invested, organized the meetings to introduce us to other potential investors and to other customers. So there are lots of advantages, and really, of all the funding we've raised, we've now up over $7.2 million. A good third of it came from crowdfunding. So we're very fortunate, but I think it finally comes a point where we need to start raising institutionally, because we need bigger chunks. Our opportunities are just much greater. So really, our campaign is finishing in just 3 weeks. It really is the last opportunity. for people who are not accredited to join our journey.
That is really exciting to think about, because you have made such incredible progress. You have done such exciting things. You built such a powerful business that is, as you say, right? This is environmentally friendly. This is, pro social justice, right? Reducing the cost of housing. Your products are literally used to, house the unhoused. I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, we're
Oh my
also
gosh.
very actively engaged in rebuilding here. I mean, as you know, we're in Los Angeles area, and we've had in January of this year, we had devastating wildfires, destroyed 16,000 homes valued at $30 billion. Los Angeles County doesn't have the supply of contractors to rebuild all of this traditional ways. So we now have a number of clients in both Altadena and in Palisades who are excited about building it so much faster, so much less expensive, no waste, and being able to move in their homes early next year. All the way from housing the unhoused, which you're really passionate about, to building, helping families rebuild. So many people who lost their homes are somewhat elderly because they might have bought this house in this beautiful areas 30, 40, 50 years ago. And now dealing with insurance companies, getting the permits, getting their utilities back, getting the environmental hazard cleaned up is so much stress. My goal is to take the stress out of construction. I lived, you might know this, Devin, I lived through Woolsey Fire myself 6.5 years ago. My unit survived, but after the fire, I volunteered for LA County Fire and just was giving advice to people how to start thinking rebuilding. And a few months ago, I published the best-selling Amazon international bestseller on best ways to rebuild after wildfire. The reality is, building a home seems so complicated. So many people are just get stressed about it, and I want to take the stress out of it. So many people think that they're underinsured. In reality, they're getting bids from people who really can't control the cost. I mean, shortage of labor continues to be. It's even worse than it's ever been. Tariffs make pricing on the materials unpredictable. We're all made in America. Highly automated, so it requires a lot less labor. And people, instead of showing up to their land site and seeing whether contractor showed up that day to build their home, they can come to our factory. They can actually have a video feed into our factory to see the progress on their home. So peace of mind, just basically bringing the same shopping experience that people have as every other product. Anything else from cars to clothes, any goods, you can go on the website, see, what the price is, when it's going to be delivered, how it's made, and for some reason it doesn't exist in construction. So we're gonna change that.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is amazing. Gene, we got to take a quick break, but I want to congratulate you on being one of the most fundable companies. Congratulations on that. We're going to take a quick break. Folks, we're here with Gene Eidelman, CEO and founder of the Azure Printed Homes, an amazing company using recycled materials to print affordable housing, all kinds of amazing products, including towable vehicles. It's just amazing. You got to check it out. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to Gene about his superpower. You don't want to miss this. Stick around.
Save the date for Super Green Live, the global event on sustainability and green innovation, January 22nd through 24th, 2026.
Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm here with Gene Eidelman. He's the CEO and founder of Azure Printed Homes, an amazing company using recycled plastic material to print affordable housing. Just a great company, a great guy. We're going to shift gears to talk now more about his personal superpower. So stick around. Gene, you really have accomplished something that is just off the charts impressive. We talked about this huge, monumental milestone, being named one of the most fundable companies. And while you're in the middle of a WeFunder campaign, that is really good fortune, but a tremendous achievement, a credit to you and all you've accomplished in your career, your leadership, your creativity, etc. What is your superpower?
First of all, it's really not just me. I have an incredible team with a great partner. My title in the company is a president. Our CEO is my business partner, Ross McGuire. And both he and the team we build around us has been unbelievable. We couldn't have accomplished anything close to this if it wouldn't be for the people who work with us. In terms of my superpower, I take it to my childhood. As you probably know, I grew up in Ukraine. I was a refugee from former Soviet Union before it broke up and came to this country with no money and no English. And I got my green card at JFK. But the American dream is very much alive around the world for people who come to America looking for the opportunity. And when I came here, my brother and I very quickly became quite successful. We started by selling real estate and then starting developing condos. I mean, it's unimaginable for somebody in his young 20s, barely speaking English, just arriving from a system that's totally different from ours. And 3 years later, I was building a condominium project. And to achieve this, again, it's something our dad taught us, that you don't know whether you're smarter than the person next to you. But one thing you can do, you can outwork them. And so that was instilled in me from the very beginning, and just coming to this country was nothing. Just that if there is, if we're going to achieve something, it'll be by working hard. So just my whole career, always worked long days and nights and weekends. I've been continuing to do that. And then always, on one hand, you got to do something you love, right? And I love construction and development. But just as important, to do something that you really care about. And I've always cared about offering what we do to people who need the most. So shortly after we came, I helped 6,000 refugees from former Soviet Union to come to this country. And now I have homeless folks who live on the same block with me. Just on the corner was a major street, down the street from where I live. There are 2 benches, and they're occupied actually a different night by different people. That's unacceptable, And so us coming out with solutions that are affordable, that cities and counties can purchase with the funds they already have and do it much faster, is kind of a dream come true. I really... you can get very easily disillusioned that maybe homeless is not something can be solved, but we can solve it. And in San Luis Obispo County example, we're building the project for $3 million less than what they originally got estimates for. And they hired us in December, and it'll be open within a year or so. Just incredible, what we can do with technology.
It is wonderful, wonderful. And to think about the environmentally friendliness, the social impact in terms of housing people, you're hitting so many, high impact spots.
Yeah, environmental friendliness. I have 3 kids, and I want to leave them the world in the better shape than I found it. And so the world produces 380 million tons of plastics every year, and less than 5% of it gets recycled. I mean, that's just insane. So here in this country, we're filling our landfills with plastic. Around the world, they're filling the bottoms of the oceans with plastic. So why not put it to good use? Also, waste. Construction is the 3rd worst polluter, not only because of the materials, like cement produces CO2, but also the waste. It's like every construction job. It could be a small ADU. You see this huge trash compactor, because it seems like half of the stuff people get from Home Depot gets wasted. So by using just what we need, we're working right now on 62 units for San Luis Obispo, and we have like a small trash can, and it's really lunch leftovers primarily.
That's great. That's great. So, Gene, as you think about your superpowers and all that you have accomplished, all the good that you've done in the world, the social impact, et cetera, other people would like to sort of figure out how to channel their inner Gene to be a little bit more like you, that to adopt that work ethic, to be driven by the social impact opportunities. How would you coach us to be a little bit more like you in those key ways?
Yeah, my suggestion is just to never give up. People tend to have an idea and get very passionate about it. And then after, one or two tries, if it doesn't work, to just give up and try to start another idea. So suggestion number one, just never give up. If you feel, on one hand, you've got to make sure that there is a product market fit. You've got to figure out that what you're working on really makes sense. So talking to a lot of potential customers, in our instance, it was talking to the homeowners, property owners, developers, community organizations, not-for-profits that look for solutions. So you really want to know that what you have is something that's needed. But once you feel that you got it, just never give up. Crowdfunding is a great equalizer, because people can now raise equity without venture capitalists. There are lots of accredited investors. In addition to crowdfunding, our next big group of people that invest in us are accredited investors. These are people who have the net worth and sophistication about it. That takes a little bit more time. But again, if you have a good idea, they're much easier to get a yes or no answer than a venture fund. So, and they're all around you. They're your family, they're your friends, they're people in your community. They're the ones who go to the chamber meetings. They're the ones who go to fundraisers. So really, it's A, having a great idea, B, never to give up, and just no matter how tough it is, just getting almost immune to somebody saying no. When I just came to this country and received my real estate license 12 months later, I was in the real estate office, and my office manager, was with me late in the evening, and I was making the calls, and he said, "Gene, after 100 calls, you will get your first customer. And so every time you get a no, you're getting closer to the yes." And so just really, when you get a quick no is much better than a big question mark. So just work the list. And it's not necessarily making the calls. It's really, there's so many opportunities now to connect in startup events, at your conferences, just to be relentless and to see no as that's your, every no from a potential investor, you get closer to a yes.
Such a great point. Gene, as we wrap up here, take a minute and tell people how they can learn more about getting an Azure Printed Home, or studio, or glamping hut, or whatever you call them. And then, of course, tell people how they can find the WeFunder campaign, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, they can go to our website. It's azureprinted.homes.com. And you can actually get to WeFunder through there. There is a button that says Invest Now, or you can go directly to WeFunder. It's wefunder.com/Azure. And October 15th is when our campaign is over. There's so much institutional interest that I actually think that after this, we will raise the necessary funding to expand. Our goal is to expand nationally and then globally, but we are at a point where there's going to come a time very soon where we will not need to rely on crowdfunding. So really, your last opportunity to join our journey is by October 15th. I'm also very easy to reach. It's Gene at AzurePrintedHomes.com. Feel free to email me. I'm on LinkedIn. And I enjoy meeting with people who are investors in the company. You can join our ambassador group and promote us within your community to potential customers, other investors. So just great opportunity to become part of this journey.
Fantastic. Gene, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. We want to wish you every success, not only with this WeFunder round, but with all the great work you're doing to make the world a better place.
Devin, and thank you so much for supporting entrepreneurs like me in their journeys. So great to see you, and cheers. Look forward to seeing you soon.
All righty now. Let's
Bye-bye.
do some good.
Yeah.